Dash has been fighting off ninjas long before Zen was ever a thing, but everyone knows that Zen is the newest ninja toy and he's by far the most explosive deck in the format. He's winning nationals left and right, and he seems to be the boogeyman of the format. With that in mind, I think that Dash has more play into Zen than people realize. You get to start with an extra 6 power in play with a card like Teklo Pounder, and you're also able to use cards like Maximum Velocity to race, and not to mention cards like Pulsewave Harpoon are hand disruption and offense at the same time. One of the biggest problems that Dash has had into ninjas in the past has been ninjas on hit effects. It means that you're effectively forced to block as the Dash player every single turn, which takes away your ability to have bigger explosive turns with maximum velocity. Zen doesn't really offer that many on hits, or if any at all, which gives Dash the ability to keep hands that she can go very wide and very explosive with. On hits or not though, Zen has already proven that he's the fastest and most aggressive deck in the format, and he's here to stay. Thanks for stopping by, guys. I hope you enjoy the match. All right, we're playing against Zen, and we are going second. We got the choice, and I did pick to go second. I'm going to start with a Teklo Pounder in play. We're going to equip adaptive plating at the leg slot. Now, it's worth noting that going first would have been pretty good here, because we could have, we would have been able to spark. We would have just probably pitched everything to spark and get a Teklo Pounder. Would have been the play. My opponent did open Kakara and Tide Flippers into me, which is interesting because I've seen quite a few people talking about the concept of playing Tide Flippers into Dash to play around some of the T-bone effects that you can get from playing Dash. So I'm intrigued to see how that plays out this game. Okay. Passover is an interesting one. Oh, okay, so they needed me to block with a card. So if I didn't block with a card, they weren't going to be able to do that, which is fun. I might try to keep the Spark of Genius here, and a very early Spark of Genius can set me up pretty well. As far as, you know, just like, oh, we might be blocking with everything this turn. Just kidding. What is this going to be for 1 because of Shuko? I mean, we'll block here. I think we're going to try and save as much damage as we can. Although that may be... No, they only have the 1 Tiger, so that's definitely correct. So we're going to block like this, and then they're probably going to throw the Kakara at us. No, okay. So we're actually going to end up taking 3 here because I blocked the Shuko Tiger for 1. If I would have taken 1 there, I would be at 38 instead of 36. So already off to a mistake here, costing me some points this early in the game, putting me down to 36 on turn 0, and I didn't get to keep any of my cards. Now, to be fair, they did have a pretty good hand on turn 0, but I should be 2 life higher than I am. That's a mistake, not being able to see far enough ahead on my part in the game there. Now, this hand's actually insane. This hand is like crazy good. So we get to go Combustible Courier for 6, which honestly I love because it's a 2-card block here if they want to stop the... This is basically a 2-card 9 is how I'm seeing this in this matchup. Now I'm only on 1 in the deck. Now there might be room for other slots, but I'm going to be honest, I don't know what you cut. We're already playing quite a few 2-cost cards, so... And then we're seeing the value that Tide Flippers is going to provide our opponent right here when they block with the Tide Flippers. And then the Harpoon is going to get a lot of value right here. Just being able to open Harpoon early on in the game is just so good. So throw in the Harpoon. We're going to put them down to probably 27 and take a card from their hand. They're forced to show us 3 cards. The odds that they have 3 no blocks they can show us is unlikely. Just kidding. So they're going to 26. They have a stir. They have a stir the pot, and a rising sun, setting moon here. Okay. So we're up 10 points without an arsenal. And I mean, this hand is also insanely strong. Looking at this hand, it's probably going to be zipper hit, pistol, arsenal to 0 to 60. We're at a point where we're early enough in the game to where we could probably we can probably try to set up the max V for next turn if we draw into it by arsenaling the 0 to 60. We probably get 1 to 2 turns based off of how quickly this matchup goes to try and find the max V here. So they had 3 chi cards in hand. So Preserved Tradition puts a Spinning Wheel Kick back on the bottom of the deck, which like is fine. I guess they want to leave other cards there. They want to leave these cards in because they're very good combo cards with bonds here. And then I assume they're going to draw a card and then put a chi on the bottom of the deck. Like there's no use for them to have multiple chi or to have 3 chi anyway. That seems very unintuitive. We're going to take the 2 from Kakara and then take 1. I assume this is going to be activate Zen, go get a Bonds, make a Tiger in your hand and go get a red Bonds here. Bonds is going to be for 4. There is no +1 here, so the Gauntlet isn't going to get the effect we want it to. And we know that they have 1 Tiger in hand here. So if we take 4, go to 29, the Tiger comes in for 2 because of Shuko. We go to 27. Chase the Tail puts us down to 23. And then we get to throw 14 at our opponent and Arsenal at 0 cost. Yep, so this is the 2 from Shuko. I don't really see a reason to block with any of our equipment just yet. Seems a little early to be blocking here. Okay, so we actually are going to give up a card here. We actually are going to give up a card here. So I guess we can give up... We're giving up 5 points of value on this turn, and it's really all about, do I want to set up for the... I mean, blocking here and Heart is probably the thing that makes the most sense. We are giving up a point of blocking here. This is tough. Let's talk about the different options here. We can block 0 to 60 in Heart, which is like the obvious block in my opinion, and then it's Pistol, Zipper Hit, so it's still a 14-point turn. After we take 4, we'll fall down to 23, and so it'll be a pretty good turn for us. We'll still have Stonewall Gauntlet and Balance of Justice and the plating, and still a counter on Heart. We're not setting up for the max V though, which means if we draw 1, we're pretty much just going to block with it. If we don't take this line, the other option is to block with a Zipper Hit, throw Zipper Hit for 7, Pistol for 2 for 9 total points, and then Arsenal. Zipper Hit for 7, Pistol for 2, and then Arsenal to 0 to 60 to try to set up to give us a good max V turn. I could also just Arsenal the Zipper Hit here if we wanted to. I guess it kind of depends on how my opponent plays out their turn. They have a 4-card hand, and we're down 3 points currently. We're gonna lead on Load the Pistol and throw Zipper Hit regardless. So we're doing 7 go again no matter what, and we're gonna see how they block. If they give a card here that's not Traverse, obviously, like if they give a card from hand, or maybe even 2 because they're looking to play like a solid blocking turn, then we won't throw the Zipper Hit. So they go and get a Chi, which means they want to play offense here. So I have to decide, is this better in Arsenal, or is it better playing offense when we have the balance? I think we want to Arsenal this. I know that probably Arsenaling the 0 to 60 would have been a better play, but I think we want to Arsenal this and try to use balance and Stonewall Gauntlet as like a way to like play solid defense this turn. Because I assume since they blocked with a Traverse that they have an Art of War or a Harmony here, a way to like really utilize the Chi that they've just searched for. We're up 4 points and we have an Arsenal here, which is pretty good. Zipper Hit's a solid one. If we draw quad reds, we could be in a bad spot, but I would say that the odds of us drawing quad reds are pretty low. We have 23 blues in our deck. I was like, I'm pretty sure I already passed here, so we're just waiting on our opponent to click back. Talishar's been running a little slow today. I'm not sure if it's my internet or if it's actually just that Talishar has been running pretty slow. I don't know. It's tough to say. It's more than likely my internet. Okay, so this hand is really good. We can block with the T-bone, and then we get to go pistol, zipper hit for 5. We throw, or I'm sorry, the 0 to 60 first. So we would pitch the Teklo Core. Okay, so he has a Tiger and a Chi in hand. I'm going to take 3 here and see how the turn plays out. Okay, so we're taking 4. Yep, there it is. Banish the Tiger, draw 2. And then I take 4, fall down to 19. So on my turn, I get to play 0 to 6. I get to load the pistol, pitching Teklo Core, have 2 resources floating. 0 to 60 first because it gets the +2 to make this a break point for 5 go again. Then I get to throw zipper hit for 5 go again, then harpoon for 4 go again. So it ends up being a 14-point turn plus the pistol makes it 16 off of 4 cards, and I can block with a T-bone. So it's a 19-point turn when you count the equipment. We also have the option of blocking with Balance of Justice, which I'm probably going to do here, to be honest. Blocking with balance seems like a good play as far as this is concerned. And we do also always have the option of blocking with plating for 3 this turn if we want. The last counter on Teklo Pounder versus the 2 block here is worth 2 points either way. It's just us determining, do we want 2 points offensively or do we want 2 points defensively? Generally, offensively is a more winning style game plan strategy that puts us in the driver's seat, but something you have to pay attention to because it can be different from time to time, depending on what everything looks like. Okay, Kakara for 2, I'm going to take. I'm not going to crack balance here. I don't have a reason to crack balance yet. They haven't done anything else to make me want to. Now, I might want to crack balance here just because it's good enough. Also, this is a very good gauntlet turn here for blocking. So I think we're going to crack balance. When they play the Gust Wave, I'm pretty happy to crack that. Man, that actually makes this hand like just crazy strong, right? Which means I want to block here and I just want to keep my hand. Being able to play the high octane and like, I mean, this was already a 16-point turn. We can turn this into a 20 to 22 point turn potentially, especially if we hit a blue off the top of the deck. Yeah, and then this is for 4. So we take 4. I don't know if we're going to be able to hang on and keep it all here, but I'd like to. So this is 1. We go to 8. This is 4. We go to 4. This is 4. So if we block here, we stay at 1. Yep, we fall to 5. And then the Crouching Tiger is for 4, and we fall down to 1. Yeah, I think we're just supposed to go to 1. There might be an argument here that we're supposed to... there might be an argument here that we're supposed to give the plating, since we're not going to have something in play to actually use. But so let's play High Octane. I think this is the best place we can start. Ripping into the blue is exactly what we want to see. So we're going to have 0 resources floating after we play these 2, but we can have 4 with heart, which means we can actually get value off of the T-bone here if we want to. Like, we get to see their whole hand if we want to do that. We'll go up to 5 action points and have 4 resources, which means this is going to be a 5, 10, 14, 15, and then 4 gunshots would be 8 would be 23. So they're physically forced to give us, well, they're just the card from, it would be just the card from, just the card from Harpoon will keep them to where they don't technically have to block with anything else if they don't want to. But this seems like I think this is a really good turn for us. We're really putting this all together the way we want to here. We're going to go zipper hit for 5. Boosting over. Hitting the blue off the top of the deck is honestly like exactly what we needed to make this turn crazy. It lets us push a lot of damage. There is a world where we could keep the T-bone and use it to shoot the gun 3 times and then play Teklo Core, but I think we're better off every single point we can get this turn, just trying to push everything we can and put them on the back foot here. They're going to be forced to give us equipment or cards this turn. They physically have to give us one or the other here. There is no other option for them. So this is 4. Show me your entire hand. And I get to, we're going to look at this, and I'm going to do my best to make the best decision here. It's not always the best thing. Like, sometimes we make wrong decisions based off what we're looking at here. So if we take Command and Conquer, they have Harmony of the Hunt into Kakara into the Tiger. This blocks the Tiger. Card from hand for this. Card from hand for the Kakara. If we take something that is not that, if we take the Harmony of the Hunt, it is Descendant into Command and Conquer, which is 3 cards. If we take the Descendant, it's Harmony into Command and Conquer, which is, or I guess either way, if we take the Descendant, it's still 3 cards. So taking the Command and Conquer, we could also just take the blue here if we wanted to. If we take the blue, they're in a pretty awkward spot, right? So we take the blue, they take 1, go to 7, and then we have 8 points from the gun coming at them, which means that they're forced to block with at least a piece of equipment here. And then they can pitch 2 cards to throw Command and Conquer at me, or they can throw Descendant. Yeah, if we take the blue, that's our best bet here. I wanted to see if there was a better option for us to take like power cards from their deck to like really force their hand, but all right. And then we have 8 points coming in from the pistol here, and they are at 7, which means technically they're required to give us something. Yeah, they give us Shuko pretty quickly. I'm surprised they didn't give us pedals there, if I'm being honest. So they don't have to block with anything else. Okay, they are going to block with other stuff here. Keep their life total up. Make it to where they can take life on other hands if they want to, which I think is a pretty smart call. One more resource would have been like perfect here, because we could have put them down to 1 or forced another card from their hand. Would have been very ideal for us. They're just going to throw Command and Conquer at us. So we have block with Sprocket Rocket, or no, I'm sorry, block with T-Bone in 0 to 60, load the pistol, throttle for 6. So that takes a card, and the pistol takes a card, leaving them with a 2-card hand. I'm hopeful that now that we're at this point in the game, this is where, as the, okay, I don't know what's happening right now, but we are going to undo our blocks here. We're going to go T-Bone and 0 to 60, and we're going to block 6. That the efficiency of playing Dash's 2-card hands will hopefully win us the game. I guess the Throttle is actually 2 cards, right? Because they can't take 3. So it's physically 2 cards here, and then a card from the pistol, leaving them with 1 card, which means we hopefully get to keep a 3-card hand, which would be ideal. If we could keep a 3-card hand, I think we can try to close the game out. We have 30 cards left in our deck, which means we're not really in a situation where we're worried about getting fatigued right now. Now, as Dash, getting fatigued is a real possibility in a lot of games. So it's something you have to be aware of if your opponent understands their role in the matchup. But I think it's going to be very difficult for Zen to fatigue us. It's worth noting that they could have only have given 2 cards there if they had 2 3 blocks. So if they give 2 3 blocks on that, on the Throttle, and then they can take 2 and go to 1 off the pistol to keep 2 cards if they want. They're going to activate Zen, make a Crouching Tiger, and then I assume... Okay, so they want to... Okay, so we're going to say no blocks here, and then the Tiger Swipe's going to be for 4. So we're going to give Max V, and we're going to give the Adaptive Plating to block 4. And then we have a hand that potentially wins the game if their blocks are awkward enough. Heads up play by my opponent to realize that they could go get a Tiger Swipe there. So this takes a card. Being able to keep 3 cards, I think, is going to win us the game. Because even if we don't kill them here, we strip every card from their hand, ultimately putting us in the driver's seat for the rest of the game. Yep, they give a 3 block, which makes a lot of sense. We play Throttle, boosting, which if they have 2 more 3 blocks and a 2 block, then they do get out of this turn alive. But if they're forced to give us multiple cards, or if they have a no block here, then they're just dead on the spot. Okay, they have the 3 blocks, and they did not say GG in chat, which some people do a lot of times, so maybe they had the whole blocking hand here. No, they had the no block here. Okay, so they stay alive because of Homage, which puts them down to 1. Now, we did take everything from their hand, which means they don't have a turn. So take a card, take a card, take a card, take a card. Yeah, I think that's how we have to play this one out. So we're going to spark, or I'm sorry, we're going to pitch the spark. We're not going to spark. Sprocket Rocket, hidden item, dang. I have to say, I very rarely hit an item with a Sprocket Rocket. So they gave us a 3 block on the very first one, which means it tells me that their hand is like probably all 3 blocks, which means this probably doesn't end the game. But again, this takes their whole hand. And at some point we will draw a zipper hit, a throttle, a breakpoint card that requires them to give us multiple cards here. And 2. And they block 2. All right, they're going to try and fatigue us. They're doing their best to hang on here, which I understand. I get. So this hand, ultimately, this hand ends the game, right? This, like, we don't even need to activate Heart here. So we get to go 4 go again. Breakpoint card. You have to give me 2 cards. They don't play defense reactions, at least not in this matchup in my experience. And then we have a singular boost from the Twin Drive, which takes both of your cards, and then we load the gun and we shoot, and the game's over from there. And we can actually arsenal the zipper hit if we want, or if we wanted to, we could activate Heart, throw zipper hit, and then the pistol. My opponent just said GG in the chat, so I was like, I assume they have a... Yeah, they're going to give my attack go again. I mean, it's one of the downfalls of those Transcend cards late in the game is that they don't block, and if you're on the back foot, you're probably ultimately going to lose because of them. On turn 0, my opponent decided to try and push damage to see how much they could leak through. They ended up leaking through 4 and putting me to 36, although I should have ended the turn at 38. When they threw the Tiger for me and it triggered Shuko to come in for 1, I decided to block with a card. Knowing that they have Chase the Tail and Banish, I should have waited, taken 1, went to 38, and then blocked the Chase the Tail. I would still take 1, but if they don't have the aspect of Tiger Body there, they're going to arsenal a card, and I get to keep my Spark of Genius for next turn to set up. Or if they do have it, I'm able to block 3 and save 2 more points of life, staying at 38 as opposed to 36. The fact that my opponent did push a lot of damage on turn 0 and forced me to block with everything actually ended up benefiting me in the end. I drew into a Combustible Courier, a Pulsewave Harpoon, and a red T-Bone there with a single blue, allowing me to come in for 16 points and strip a card from their hand. On turn 3, my opponent had a pretty big Art of War turn that actually managed to put me down to 1. The problem for them is I think they made a mistake by not breaking the combat chain at some point. I blocked with Stonewall Gauntlet and got like close to 4 or 5 points of value out of it that turn, really giving me the ability to be able to keep my 5-card hand and my arsenal, which really put me in the driver's seat. Pulsewave Harpoon is the MVP of this game. Being able to play Pulsewave Harpoon on like a 20+ point damage turn and taking their only blue from their hand really won me the game because Dash is very efficient and can play 2-card hands very well and strip multiple cards from Ninja's hands. Guys, if you see anything you think I missed, let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear about it. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to like and subscribe for more content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Take it easy, guys.